Hey everybody, this is Joshua with the Tendinitis Expert. And this video is about the basics of DeQuervain's tendinitis. So let's start with, what is DeQuervain's? First off, it's nothing to be scared about. If you got a diagnosis and DeQuervain sounds like a scary thing, you don't need to worry about it. It's just a really fancy name for thumb tendinitis. So even though it has a fancy name, it's really just a term for thumb tendinitis. So that brings up the question, what is thumb tendinitis? Technically, thumb tendinitis is inflammation and irritation of a thumb tendon. And while that's true, really it's a bigger dynamic than that. When I talk about tendinitis, I talk about it as a dynamic. Because really it is. It's made up of multiple factors. It's never just tendon inflammation. And even if it is, something caused that inflammation. And that's a question your doctors don't ask. They don't ask what caused the inflammation. It's not your job, it's not your hobby, it's not your sport, but inflammation of a tendon, painful, tight tendons happen for a reason. So let's break that down just a little bit. When you ask the question, what is thumb tendinitis, then you're left with the answer of tendinitis is tendinitis, no matter where it is in the body, and tendinitis is made up of three factors: muscle and connective tissue tightness. It's going to take too long to write out. Inflammation and nutritional insufficiency. So these three factors are what makes up tendinitis. For DeQuervain's, that looks like muscles in the forearm are too tight, and often muscles in the hand are too tight as well. So you can see here the tendon comes down and there's muscles underneath these big muscles. But if those muscles are tight, it's a safe bet that these muscles are too tight also. And when muscles are tight, they're pulling on these tendons. So you have muscle, you have tendon, it attaches to bone, and when muscles are too tight, they pull the tendon that way. And when you're constantly pulling on a tendon, which is the case in tendinitis, then that tendon is going to start to hurt. So, factors. Muscles that are that long, should be that long, are now this long. And that's pulling on the tendon extra. And then the connective tissue shrink wraps. So now you're literally stuck with these short, tightened, constantly working muscles. And they're constantly pulling on the tendon, and that constantly causes pain. And then you have inflammation. Inflammation releases chemicals into the tissue, which enhance your sensitivity to pain. And what does your brain do when there's pain? It tightens up these muscles to guard and protect. Bless its heart, that's the only thing it knows how to do. And when your muscles are too tight constantly, which they are, when they're working constantly, which they are, that eats up nutrition. And the inflammation process eats up nutrition. And dealing with the inflammation process eats up nutrition. And when you're out of nutrition, your body can't respond adequately. So that's another factor of why your short, tight muscles stay short and tight, because they literally don't have the nutrition to be able to relax. And that is an important thing to know. So we just kind of basically talked about what causes DeQuervain's tendinitis in the sense of the three factors that cause it. And sure, your hobby or your sports or any other activity you do, it makes your muscles work. And that sort of is going to cause a problem, but it's not actually the activity. The problem is the lack of function in the muscles. So as things get more tight and more inflammation chemical builds up in the tissue, which tells the brain to tighten things up, and connective tissue shrinks down so that your short, tight muscle is literally stuck short and tight. And as that eats up a bunch of nutrition and leaves you in a hole, meaning you don't have enough nutrition and you can't get out of that hole until you get enough nutrition, then things continually get more tight, you get more inflammation, and you get less nutrition. And that equals pain. So if you want to get rid of your DeQuervain's tendinitis, what do you need to do? You need to get rid of the tightness, you need to get rid of the inflammation, and you need to replace the lost nutrition. And when you do that, pain goes away. It's a very interesting thing. So a quick summary here, as far as a DeQuervain's tendonitis basic, is DeQuervain's tendonitis is just a fancy term for thumb tendonitis. And thumb tendonitis is just a function of these three factors working together, making each other worse, and causing pain. And when you want to get rid of that pain, what you need to do is get rid of the tightness, get rid of the inflammation, and get rid of the nutritional insufficiency. That was a weird nutritional insufficiency. And when you do those three things, then your pain will go away as well. So if you'd like to find out more about DeQuervain's tendonitis, go to my website, tendonitisexpert.com, and find the appropriate page.